Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music. We're in the front room at my piano. No screen today, just talking, right? We've been talking about modal interchange this past week, and I want to show you how I use it when I'm just sitting, noodling around on the piano. Okay, just a quick review for those of you who haven't seen the previous videos. And I hope that by just listening a couple of times, if you have seen the first one, it'll begin to make more and more and more sense. So in simple terms, how I think about it is this. I grab a set of notes. Those are 7 notes: G, A, B, C, D, E, F. And I make a little pattern or just something out of those two. So let's say I take 3 notes in the left hand, 3 notes in the right. And if I want to just sit there in those notes and in that pattern, I can still change keys. I'm not going to pick up my hands and move it around when I change keys. I'm going to ask myself this question. If I want to go from the key of C, which I'm in now, to the key of G, what has to change? Well, simple. What has to change is F becomes F sharp. So it's key of C, key of G, right? So what if I pick a little pattern, play a little pattern? G, back to C. Well, I'm interested in that, and what I practice is I go right around the circle of fifths. For instance, if I was going to go from G to the key of D, which would be the next in the circle, I wouldn't have to change anything because there's no C here. C would have to be sharp, but there's no C in my system. But when I go from D to A, the G becomes G sharp. So here we go, C, G, D is the same, right? Maybe the bass note changes. And now A. Let's go right back to C. So I'm interested in that. But for composing, I'm probably not just going to mechanically go around the circle of fifths. I want to carefully choose my key levels. And I'm interested in, we talked about this earlier, symmetrical relationships, dividing the octave. So symmetrical relationships obviously could be chromatic, all of the notes, but I'm more interested in things like minor thirds, where you get 4 equal divisions, or major thirds, 3. So A and C, as an example, are a minor third apart. So they make a good choice for me. C, A, C, A, C. You get the idea. What's a minor third up from C? E flat. So let's figure out what we need to do to go from C to E flat. So those are my 3 notes in the left hand. Those are my 3 notes in the right. G, B has to become B flat. E has to become E flat. In the right hand, A becomes A flat. I know my key signatures. I know the notes in my scales. A becomes A flat. And then the D is fine, and so is the F. So now I have this sound. And I'm going to go back to C. Here we go. Let's go to A. C, E flat, fascinated by this approach. And I love keeping a pattern and just changing it to accommodate the new scale. I think it's most interesting for us as pianists because we've got some technical challenges as we go from one key set to another. I have to really think about what's happening with my hands. Something as simple as legato thirds requires a really substantial shift in the depth of my hand on the keyboard, especially right there, from going from E to E flat. My thumb goes from E to E flat. That's a big change, right? So practicing on the piano gives me a big kind of like boost technically. I'll just say that. And you can do that any number of ways. You can just do the 5-finger drop and change. And then back. And then ask yourself, what would that be like if it was A? I had to change 2 notes back to C. E flat, I had to change 3 notes. Sitting at the instrument and using this idea of modal exchange will it kind of like change the way you think about how chords change, how scales change, and it may even give you new melodic ideas, certainly gives you new harmonic ideas. Well, I hope this has been useful. Like and subscribe and ding the bell. You'll be notified when I do my videos. I'll see you next time.